After much deliberation, I decided the next story should concern a place many forget exists: the sea. Have you ever been dragged beneath the waves? I have heard many call it one of the most terrifying experiences of their lives. I would not say the same. You see, I know what the water hides. Drowning is merely the polite way the ocean chooses to kill you. At the center of the ocean, you will feel its frigid, cold hand tighten around you. The ocean is cold. The ocean is unfeeling. Even gods fear what waits at the bottom. The creatures there have many names, but the one that the world remembers is the prisoner. And I am certain the prisoner remains. Its influence has spread to those who call the sea home. Its hate twists them. It makes them weird. So be careful when you stand at the water's edge. The prisoner has been entombed for a very long time, and you cannot imagine how deeply it hates life. This story begins before the three siblings I mentioned earlier, but not before all of them, before reality had shaped, before the third existed. In that time, imagination wandered alone. Creatures formed from thought drifted through existence without purpose. They were not real. Reality had not yet been born. But they were not nothing either. They were ideas. One day, one such creature noticed something troubling. Its sibling had grown larger, happier, stronger. For the first time, a creature felt. Jealousy was created in the creature, and it grew. Jealousy gave it ambition. Ambition gave it hunger. With this, the creature gained something that did not exist yet. Emotion. The emotion of anger. And so, it devoured its sibling. Imaginary was displeased. Imaginary imprisoned it within a thought. Later, that thought would become surrounded by the world. But this created a problem. Imaginary could not become real. So the second surrendered much of its power to the thought itself. This is when the second put forth effort into this world. From that first effort came the third, reality. Then the world began to form. Tell me something, dear listener. Do you suppose our world is nothing more than a prison? Of course not. If you believe that, you have misunderstood everything I have said so far. Though it is an amusing mistake, it is understandable, but it is a mistake nonetheless. The second used dream to tell the third of the beast and explain its crime. The third left the beast to its confinement, though he did not understand the second's reason. Freedom does not care for morality. The third shared this sentiment, because to him, his most important gift was that same freedom. The prisoner was named and bound by the will of the second. The third simply chose not to interfere. It was amazing to see how the second was frightened by it. What frightened it the most was that the being could create in the first place. Think about that. How did the creature feel? Feeling was not yet created. It was imaginary. It wasn't real, yet it could feel. The third looked at this unfettered creation, and he grew giddy with excitement. He took the prisoner's one thing, its emotion, The third saw this untamed emotion, and he grew delighted by it. So he refined it. From that first stolen feeling, he created crowns. Each crown wore a king made from a single emotion: will, hope, love, fear, greed, and rage. These gifts were given to the creations because he found them beautiful. Along with them came life, and with life comes death. When mortals learned of these emotions, they learned to harness them. The utilization of emotion is what created magic. Many years later, I found myself at the bottom of the sea. This is not particularly difficult for me, but the sea at the time was more mysterious than even Foyer. As I swam downward, the abyss devoured the last strands of light. Soon nothing remained but darkness. Volcanic vents illuminated the sea floor like distant stars. Distant stars fated to be drowned and be replaced. And below them waited deeper darkness still. I descended until even the memory of sunlight had faded. For 111,222 fathoms, I sunk into the abyss, looking for a being that lay at the intersection of imagination and nothing. That is the distance I paid to find it. The prisoner. It was a writhing mass of impossible form. Trying to describe it would be pointless. Once again, we encounter a creature easier to define by what it is not. It was not kind. It was not merciful. It was not good. Whatever these words mean to you, imagine their opposite. That will bring you to what you would perceive. The creature battered the walls of its cage like a dying beast. I understood why. After all, I would do the same had I been in chains. I reached forward and tore one of its teeth free. Even the blood that escaped into the water was foreign, and it hated everything it touched. The thing in my hand shimmered strangely. It held a simple purpose: to destroy whatever it struck, even gods, even concepts. The prisoner thrashed in its rage, and I wondered why the gods feared it. After all, I had eaten one myself. Eating a god was a trivial matter, with all things considered. That act made me a god, so why did I not fear it? Then I understood. I did not see a monster. I saw family. A sibling's child that bit its brother. Yet I still could not understand taking away its will. Maybe I am simply an uncle who wishes to spoil his kin. If it was to destroy, then it was to destroy. Who were we to tell it no? I thought of freeing it. Ultimately, it was my sibling's decision, and I had no right to help. So I left it there, throwing its tantrum. Though for its lamentations I gave it a gift. I tore a finger from my left hand and cast it into the cage. The prisoner devoured it, happily, cruelly, sadly. Then it returned to its rage, and I left it to its tantrum. Our third story this time involves those that live inside the sea. Before the First War, there lived many different races. In the sea, that number grew to be uncountable. By the end of the First War, that number dwindled like an ember. Only 2 remained in the sea, though in truth only 1 should be counted. Atlanteans were the mortals who lived in the sea. They hailed from the grand city of Atlantis. They swam through the sea like they owned it, though they knew nothing could own it. Thus, they never strayed to the areas where the sun did not meet, even when the sea corrupted them. Atlanteans would change. They would become weird. Atlanteans would grow extra limbs. They would gain razors for teeth. Their babies would be born with third eyes or even arms that could shift, though they were still made of flesh. Then they started going mad. These creatures grew so far apart from Atlanteans that they stopped being called such. The babies were thrown into the abyss, and when they were seen lurking in the shadows, they were dubbed lurkers. The Atlanteans were intelligent above all else. The lurkers were strong above all else. Eventually, jealousy took root between them. The lurkers had grown up in darkness. The Atlanteans had grown up in light. Darkness breeds resentment. The lurkers attacked without warning, and they tried to rip the claim of the sea away from the Atlanteans. They still do so even now. Once, when I walked through the sea, I saw an Atlantean and a lurker fighting. 2 warriors clashed. The Atlantean wielded a weapon that fired pressurized water capable of cutting diamond. The lurker carried a club lined with shark teeth and muscles that seemed made of diamond. Water blasted, flesh tore. Chunks of skin and blood drifted through the currents like red ribbons. Neither warrior yielded. When the duel ended, both bodies floated in the water. The sea granted them a single moment of stillness. Then the sharks came. The sharks were drawn into a frenzy, and by the time they left, only the ocean remained. I watched from the side, truly fascinated by the never-ending violence that the sea insisted on covering up. It was a war that was destined to be devoured by the place it called home. The sea is truly magnificent. It offered adventures that your language has yet the capability to describe. I can only hope this glimpse assures you to the dangers found therein. I wander with impunity most of the time, and I wish you mortals could do the same. I recognize, however, that maybe since your mortal lives can end so quickly, you look at them as glass trinkets to be treasured. If that is the case, then I shall warn you again to be careful near the water's edge. If you be one of the few who has a different disposition, then I shall congratulate you. Though you will most likely die horribly, you will witness sights beyond imagination's imagination. You will witness true horror. The land and the sea have had their stories. Logically, our next step lies above them both. The clouds. There we shall speak of the newlywed giants who crushed a village while playing hide and seek, the bird that lost its way in the sky, and the elemental child sacrificed to drown a town. As always, it has been a pleasure. Good night, goodbye, and until next time.